ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनसारणम्। Hare Krishna. Welcome to today's episode of the Mahabharata. In the previous episode, we have seen how the Pandavas lived in the forest in exile, increasing their pious credits by engaging in various kinds of austerities, tapasyas, conducting various yajnas, sacrifices with the help of the sages and the rishis in the forest, and distributing the yajnasishta or Vishnu's prasadam to everyone who attended their sacrifices. At the same time, we also saw how Duryodhana engaged in various kinds of sense gratification without engaging in activities of tapasya, dana, etc., thereby simply diminishing the pious credits he had accumulated over his past lives. We also saw how when the Pandavas were living in Gandhamadana hill, Draupadi came across a beautiful golden 1,000-petaled lotus and she requested Bhima to get more of this, and Bhima set out in pursuit of finding the origin, the source of those lotuses. And while going through the forest, he came across a strange, never before seen animal. Who was this animal and what happened when Bhima approached this animal is what we will be discussing today. To begin today's episode, we will take you to the time of Lord Ramachandra, who ruled over the earth several millions of years ago during the age known as Treta Yuga. The current age in which we all live in is called Kali Yuga, which lasts for 432,000 years, out of which 5,000 years have passed by. The age previous to this was called Dwapara Yuga, which lasted for 864,000 years. And the age previous to that was Treta Yuga, which lasted for 1,296,000 years. It was during the time of Treta Yuga that Lord Ramachandra ruled over the world from his capital Ayodhya, which is very close to the capital of the state of Uttar Pradesh, which is Lucknow. Now, when Lord Ramachandra was ruling over Ayodhya, accompanied by his brothers, the citizens were all great devotees of Lord Ramachandra, and Lord Ramachandra also ruled over them exactly like a very loving father would take care of his children. There were many devotees who rendered loving devotional service to Lord Ramachandra during that time. There was one particular devotee of Lord Ramachandra in Ayodhya. His devotion to Lord Ramachandra was so great that every day he would come to the court, have darshan of Lord Ramachandra, and then go back, and only then he would have his meals. Without having darshan, without having first seen the Supreme Lord Ramachandra, this man would never have his meals. Once Lord Ramachandra had to go out of Ayodhya for about 5-6 days on some important work. Now during this time, this gentleman, because he could not see Lord Ramachandra, refused to eat anything. He would not even drink water. So like this, 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, days went by like this, but this man would not relent from following his austerity, from following his vow. Lord Ramachandra, after finishing his work, when he returned to Ayodhya, then Lakshmana, his younger brother, introduced this gentleman, this devotee to Lord Ramachandra, and he explained to him how this man was so devoted to Lord Ramachandra that while he was not there, he has not even taken a drop of water. So Lord Ramachandra was very much affected by this person's devotion, and he thought that there may be some other instance like this where I may have to go out, and if this person doesn't see me and he doesn't eat his food, it is not good. So Lord Ramachandra instructed Lakshmana to bring out a set of deities of Sita and Rama. These deities of Sita and Rama had been worshipped by the sun god, and it had been handed over by him to his son Ikshvaku, and like this, generation after generation in the sun god's dynasty, the successive kings would worship the deities of Sita and Rama. During Lord Ramachandra's time, when he was personally present, because of his personal presence, there was no need to worship those deities which had come handed over from one king to the other in that dynasty in which Lord Ramachandra himself appeared. So, when Lord Ramachandra was personally present, he said there is no need for these deities right now, and they were kept locked up in a closet. Lord Ramachandra recalled these deities, and he instructed his younger brother Lakshmana to bring those deities, and Lord Ramachandra gave it to that devotee, and he told him that if for some reason you are not able to see me, then you can see these deities of mine, which is as good as seeing me personally. So then you will not have to take the trouble of having to fast if on some day you are not able to see me personally. So the man was also very happy, and he took the deities to his home and personally started worshipping them with great respect and affection. So we can see from this exchange how the Supreme Lord is very, very dear to his devotees. The devotees are also very dear to the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord takes every care possible to keep his devotees always happy. And when we say the Lord wants to keep his devotees happy, the devotees are not happy by engaging in some activities of sense gratification. They are not happy by having good food to eat, good clothes to wear, having a nice luxurious residence. They are not interested in all these things. What gives pleasure to the devotees is to be able to constantly chant the holy names of the Lord, to be able to constantly remember the pastimes of the Supreme Lord, and to thus always remain in his association. So, just like this devotee, because he was a great devotee of Lord Ramachandra knew that nothing would satisfy him except to be always in his presence. And so, the Lord, understanding what would keep him happy, he gave him his own deities. So, now we come back to the forest where Bhima had come across this strange animal. Bhima looked upon this animal with wonder. This animal looked like an ordinary monkey, but then its whole body had a golden hue, and it was strangely effulgent. And this monkey was lying as if he was sleeping in the path. So Bhima, because his path was blocked, he spoke to the monkey, and he told him that, "Oh monkey, you are lying in my path, please wake up and give way. This monkey slowly raised his head and looked at Bhima, and he said, I am very old, it is not possible for me to get up and all that. Why have you come here? Why are you troubling me like this? This is my place. You seem to be some new person. Why do you want to go this way? So Bhima introduced himself. He said, I am Bhima, one of the Pandavas, and I am going on this path searching for a golden 1000-petaled lotus. So this monkey looked at Bhima and he told him, see, that lotus what you are talking about is not available in all these ordinary earthly planets. It is there in the heavenly planet. And this path which you are walking on leads you to the heavenly planet. And so, ordinary people like you and all cannot go to the heavenly planet. So you go back. Don't, trouble me, you go back. Now Bhima became very upset. He said, what do you think of yourself? Who are you to stop me? If you don't step aside on your own, I'll pick you up and throw you aside. Now this monkey, he looked at him and he said, why are you troubling me? If you are so insistent that you want to go, you step over me and go. No, why I should get up and all this and you should throw me and all that. You just cross over me and you go. Then Bhima looked at the monkey and he said, you see, I cannot cross over you, because as Lord Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishtaha. The Lord as Paramatma is seated in every living entity's heart. So Bhima knew this, that Krishna is present as Paramatma in every living entity's heart, even in the heart of animals, not just human beings. Even in the heart of the monkey also, Paramatma is present. So Bhima told the monkey, you see, in your heart, Paramatma is there. So therefore, if I cross over your body, I will be crossing over Paramatma, which will be a great offense. Therefore, I will not commit that offense of crossing over you. You will have to either get up and give me way, or I will pick you up and throw you aside. Then Bhima told the monkey, see, if I did not know this, that the Paramatma is there in your heart, I would have jumped across you very easily, just like Hanumanji jumped over the ocean for Lord Ramachandra. So this monkey immediately looked at him and took notice. And he said, Hanumana, who is this Hanuman? What did he do? Why did he jump across the ocean? So then Bhima told him that Hanumanji is a great devotee of Lord Ramachandra, and he was also Vanara like you. When Ravana, the Asura, he kidnapped Sita Devi, the wife of Lord Ramachandra, to search and find her out, Hanumanji jumped across the ocean and he found where Sita Maya was, and he came back and delivered the message to Ramachandra. Anyway, that and all is separate. Now you get up and give way. So then the monkey said, see, it is very difficult for me to move. My tail is lying there. It is in one side. You remove my tail and then you walk across. So then Bhima looked at him and he said, what monkey, simply creating trouble for me. He wants me to pick up his tail and keep it aside. Okay, anyway, let me do it. He went and he used this left hand to pick up the tail of the monkey. Then Bhima is holding the monkey's tail and pulling. It is not moving. Bhima was little surprised. He thought very easily, like, monkey's tail, how difficult it is to move. So then he thought very easily he will be able to move, but this is not moving. So he was carrying his gada with him. He kept it aside, and then he used his right hand also. With both hands he started pulling, but this tail is not moving. So Bhima realized this is not some ordinary monkey and this is not some ordinary tail. So he started putting his full effort, because now it was a matter of prestige for him. And he is using his full energy and power, and he is perspiring, but this tail is not moving. Then Bhima stepped aside and he understood that this is not some ordinary monkey, because Bhima's power is such that no ordinary person can face him, and this ordinary monkey's tail is not able to lift. So this is definitely some extraordinary being. So Bhima stepped aside and then he apologized to the monkey. He said, it looks like you seem to be some celestial personality. You are not an ordinary monkey. I am sorry that I spoke to you in an insulting way. Please forgive me and please reveal yourself. Then this monkey looked at him and he said, you spoke about somebody called Hanuman, no? I am that Hanuman. Bhima was astonished. Oh, Hanumanji has come. He immediately offered his obeisances, and ultimately, because Hanumanji is the son of Vayu and Bhima was also begotten by Kunti Devi according to the blessings of Vayu. In that sense, both of them are brothers also. So then Bhima was very happy to meet Hanumanji, because Hanumanji is also a great devotee of the Lord. Bhima is also a pure devotee of the Lord. So then Bhima requested Hanumanji to narrate the whole Ramayana to him. And so Hanumanji very ecstatically, he described the whole Ramayana pastime of the Supreme Lord Ramachandra to Bhima. Then Hanumanji was carrying deities of Sita and Rama tied around his neck. So he took those deities and he handed it over to Bhima. And he gave it to him and he said, these are the deities of Lord Rama and Sita, which were originally worshipped by Ikshvaku himself. And during Lord Ramachandra's personal presence, these deities were not being worshipped, but the Lord handed it over to one devotee in his kingdom, who, because that devotee had taken a vow not to eat anything until he would have darshan of the Supreme Lord. This is the same devotee who had gotten the deities of Sita and Rama from Lord Ramachandra himself. And when that devotee, as long as he was alive, he was worshipping those deities of Rama and Sita. But when the time came for him to depart, to give up his body, at that time he handed over the Sita and Rama deities to Hanumanji. And Hanumanji from that time was carrying it in a piece of cloth tied around his neck, and every day he would ecstatically worship them. And now Hanumanji handed over the same deities to Bhima. So Bhima received them with great respect, and he took those deities. As long as Bhima was present on this earth, Bhima kept those deities very carefully and he would worship them every day. Of course, it is said that today those deities were further, after the time of the Pandavas, were handed down further to their descendants, and eventually it reached the hands of Madhvacharya, and he kept them in the Udupi temple. And it is said that even today, that Udupi temple, there are the deities of Sita and Rama, who are the same deities who are worshipped by Ikshvaku and then handed over by Rama to his devotee, who handed it over to Hanumanji, who handed it over to Bhima, and Bhima handed over to his descendants, and finally it is now in the temple of Udupi. So Bhima then requested Hanumanji that he should support them in some way whenever the need would arise, when the Pandavas would have to face the Kauravas in battle. Then Hanumanji assured him that because the Pandavas were all devotees of Lord Krishna, he would definitely help them, and he said he would help them by being personally present on the flag of Arjuna during the battle which would take place between them and the Kauravas. And then Bhima left Hanumanji there, and he went further and he approached the celestial planets, which was the abode of Kuvera, and there he found that lake where there were many golden 1,000-petal lotuses, and he picked a few of them and he brought them back to Draupadi. So like this, the Pandavas were engaging in various activities during their stay in the forest. The Pandavas spent about almost the 12 years of their forest exile. Largely they were going back and forth between two forests, the Kamyaka forest and the Dvaitavana forest. Dvaitavana forest is said to be modern day Devvand. Dvaitavana was also known as Devavana, and now it came to be known as Devvand, which is near Saharanpur in Uttar Pradesh. Kamyakavana is said to be a forest which is close to Thar desert. it is further up northwards, and the Dvaitavana is down south from Kamyakavana. So the Pandavas were largely going between these two. Sometimes they would go to the Himalayas, and like this they would keep going to various parts of the forest, and they would build a hermitage there, live for some time, and like this they were spending their time. Now time went by, and slowly the years passed by. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, like this they entered the 12th year in forest exile. In Hastinapura, Dhritarashtra was counting the days, and as the time came closer for the Pandavas' forest exile to get over, Dhritarashtra's blood pressure was going up. He was becoming more and more anxious because he knew the Pandavas were righteous, and he was also repenting whatever had happened to the Pandavas. So he knew that unless the Pandavas were given their rightful kingdom, eventually there could be war, and if war was there, then definitely Duryodhana did not stand a chance. Duryodhana, on the other hand, he was merrily spending his time, enjoying life, and oblivious of the fact that the forest exile was coming to a close. Instead of becoming anxious, Duryodhana was becoming more and more cocksure of himself, because he was building up his alliances, and his opulence was increasing, his military strength was increasing. So he was under the false confidence that his power is increasing while the Pandavas are in exile. When they come back, who is going to support them? So this was Duryodhana's thinking. So when the 12th year came, then Karna came to Duryodhana and he said, long time over, we have been enjoying like this, and Duryodhana, you become very opulent, you become very powerful, all these things are there. And by our plans, by our scheme, we have managed to keep the Pandavas very far away. So, but then, simply enjoying like this full maja is not there. We should go and show off to the Pandavas, let us go and show them what we have got and how we are enjoying. So, little bit let us finger them. So, Duryodhana heard this and he said, very good idea, let us do that. So, Duryodhana thought, let us, go and show off, let me go off and go to the forest and show off my power and my opulence to the Pandavas. So, he started making arrangements to get together a large army, thousands of horses, thousands of elephants, and all the women folk, and carrying a lot of jewels and ornaments and all that. He thought, let us go to where the Pandavas are there in Dvaitavana, and let us show off what power and opulence I have got. Like this, he started getting ready. Now, when Duryodhana was planning like this to go and insult the Pandavas and show off his opulence and power, what happened? Please join us in the next episode to learn about this. Thank you for joining us today. Hare Krishna. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol.